Welcome again to another episode of Baffle TV. I'm your host, Harry. Alongside, I have my other host, Ollie, or otherwise known as Revs. And in this episode, we're going to give you our review and roundup of the Scotland NC 500 route all the way around the coast of Scotland. So we packed up the van, loaded the bikes, we drove up to Inverness. We stayed in Inverness overnight, and the very next morning, we loaded the bikes up with all of the gear and we headed off and started our 3-day trip. So something I think is worth saying, once we packed our bags and we started on day one on the ride, I spent the first hour behind Ollie, watching Ollie checking his steering. And I'm starting to get a little nervous, thinking, what's wrong with his bike? We pull over, and it turns out that the back end of Ollie's bike was packed with so much gear, it became really heavy and actually lifted the front end of his bike. His steering got light, and we had to reconfigure how we packed the bags. Lesson number 1, when packing a bike, don't stuff everything right at the back. Right, day 1. Officially, the NC 500 starts and ends at Inverness Castle. So we took the bikes, we briefly touched Inverness Castle, and off we went up the east coast. Now, everybody told us to do the NC 500 counterclockwise, east to west, and apparently that was the best way to do it. We weren't sure, so we took everybody's advice. We left Inverness and we rode up the east coast with the sea on the right-hand side all the time, and that was our marker so we didn't get lost. We stopped off briefly at a place called Leibster, and then we moved our way all the way up to John O'Groats. John O'Groats was one of those bucket list things. It was lovely. The weather was amazing as well, which is lucky, I think, in the north of Scotland. And we moved from John O'Groats over to a place called Tongue. We camped at Tongue, and I think that was the perfect stop for day 1. Over to Ollie.
Okay, day 2. Cheers, Harry. We woke up in the morning in Tongue, me, Harry, and the midgies, and we got ready to pack up all our stuff and get going. And we'd had an amazing day 1, and you wouldn't think things could get much better. But we left Tongue on the very top of Scotland, North Scotland, and we started to make our way around to the west coast. And we start making our way around some just unreal scenery. First of all, massive wide open spaces with huge lochs and estuaries and things like that. And as our first hint of rain as well, we woke up to a beautiful morning, but then we got a little bit of it. And we start making our way down the coast, but there was an amazing beach, apparently like a Caribbean beach in Scotland. So me being me, I want to go and check this out. It's voted like one of the best beaches in the world. But I'd love to be able to tell you the name of this beach, but it was a complicated, long Scottish name.
Durness Beach.
Durness Beach. Thank you, Harry. And so we come on down there's about a 20-mile detour to go to that. So we come off the NC 500, go up a little bit, check out this beach. It was right. We found a lovely place there for a coffee and a bacon sandwich. So if anyone else is going to do this trip on a bike, you'll be able to go up in there and see that. Well worth a visit. Might even be worth a stay there for the night. It's beautiful. We then get back on the bikes and we start riding south then, and we're riding to Applecross Bay. That was our final destination, which was probably another 180 miles. So we're heading down to Applecross Bay next, which was over 100 miles away. So we jump on the bikes and we get going, and we are greeted with some of the most unreal roads and coast roads and things like that to get our head round as we're coming on down. And we were riding for a long time. We didn't get to the bay until 5-6 o'clock at night. So we got a solid day of riding in mixed weather, sun, wind, sleet, at this time of year, and rain. And it was just the most, like, I don't want to say magical and be full of cheese, but it was up there, it was special, These two guys are looking at me now, so excuse me, everyone. But no, it was unreal riding day. We had a mixture of tight twisties, hill climbs, really tight single track tight twisties. We had open revs, massive quick roads with luggage on, ripping along with the coastline on the side of us. And then we had like big mountain passes as well, with big, huge curves and all the rest of it. So we had a huge mix. We even went through forestry, mountains, coast. We had a mixture of everything one day. Okay, to round up day 2, we make it into Applecross Bay, and it was a welcome sight. So we dropped down into this beautiful curve, like moon-shaped bay, and there's wild camping or free camping going on down there. So no facilities and things like that. So we had to set up everything ourselves off the bikes. But what we did spot in the distance was the Applecross Inn. And so me and Harry are like, oh, we better make our way over there and see if they welcome in some weary travellers. And we get there, and what we welcome with? Frosty real ale and hot haddock and chips, fresh out the sea. Not just saying this, but best haddock or best fish and chips I've ever had. And what a way to sum up the evening. And then we went back to our tent, settled down on the bank, and started to collect some ticks and midgie bites.
On to day 3. Considering what we'd done on day 2 and the riding that we'd experienced, personally, I didn't think it could get any better. It did. We were rewarded with the most epic road I personally have ever ridden on. We left Applecross in the morning and we took the Applecross Pass. Now, it's worth noting there's a sign at the beginning of the Applecross Pass saying that the road is impassable in winter. Kind of set the scene for us. We took the Applecross Pass. This road winds up and up and up into the clouds, and the wind was incredible. The weather just about held out for us. Single track road. We get to the top of the pass, and we have this entire view below us, which is incredible. One of the most epic winding roads I've ever come across. Closest thing I've ever seen in the UK to an Alp. So, to sum up the NC 500, the Baffle Culture trip around, we did, say, approximately 200 miles of riding on the first day. We did 180 on the second day, and then the balance on the last day. And what would I say? From a point of view of like a novice doing this type of adventure stuff, pack your bike well. Make sure that you don't load too much weight to the back of the bike, because it makes the front of your bike go a bit lifted up on the front, which is really dusty, weird handling. And then pack clothing for all weathers, right? You want super waterproofs. You want warm stuff. You want cool stuff. You definitely want a bit of padding, because you're riding in areas where you've got single track road, tight. Some of the locals come at you quick in their cars because they obviously know the roads a lot better than you, but also you could go around a tight corner and you've got a massive camper van heading on towards you, and you're loaded up with a heavy bike. So just bear all those things in mind. I'd say if you're a beginner rider, I probably wouldn't bother yet. I would wait, get a few miles under your belt before you go and do it, because it was an extreme thing, and you're really tired at the end of the day as well. But if you have been riding a few years and you really want to go on this type of thing, I would wholeheartedly recommend it. We've got another video coming up where we're going to talk to you about the kit and the stuff that we used on the trip. And look, thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you all soon. Cheers.